Hey there, it's Jennifer here. Today I will be leading you in a small fun chemistry experiment that you can do within the comforts of your own home. Now, you will only need a few things for this experiment. First off, you will need some dish soap. Then you might want a small container to hold your dish soap in. We won't be using a lot of dish soap, so really like a small bowl or like a small plate will work just fine. If you can't find a small like container, if you just use like a regular size bowl or a large cup, that will work just fine. Whatever works for you. Now you will also need some milk. I have my milk right here in this red container. And make sure your milk is 2% or whole milk so that you will have the best results for your experiment. I will be using 2% milk. You will also want some food coloring. Doesn't have to be any fancy, just regular plain food coloring works just fine. Then you will want some toothpicks or just like sticks, clean sticks that you can use to like scoop up some of the dish soap that we'll be using later. Now, I also have a roll of paper towels over here that you may need to fix up any spillage of like the milk or any mess you make just in the experiment. Now, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Alrighty, let's get started. So, we're gonna take our milk and we're gonna pour it into the container. So when you pour the milk, make sure it covers the entire bottom surface because just for the best effect of this experiment, we're going to want to cover the entire bottom so we don't have to use a lot of milk. I think I'm going to swirl the milk around just to like even it out a little bit. Yep. This little bit of milk will work just fine for this experiment. So we're going to take our food coloring and we are going to put it in the milk. So I think I'm going to use red and yellow. And for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to put 2 drops, a drop of each color. So here's a drop of red and I'll put a drop of yellow. Alrighty, so now we're going to put the caps back on because we clean up after our messes. So you can feel free to do any other arrangement of different colors or patterns and have fun with it. Like do maybe like 4 dots or like 3 dots or 2 dots or 1 dot. Just it's really up to you and you can have a little bit of fun with it. So now for the next part of the experiment, we are going to take our dish soap and we're gonna dump a little bit of it into the container. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit would work just fine since we don't need a lot for reacting in the experiment. So after you have it in your container, you're going to want to take a single toothpick. And first, let's see what it will look like if we just put the toothpick in the milk and the food coloring just by itself. Alright, well as you can see, nothing really happened. Let's try putting in another dot. Will anything change? Nope, I don't think so. Alright, now let's take the other end of the toothpick that we just used, or if you want, you can get a new toothpick, and let's scoop some of that dish soap. Alright, so you don't have to take a lot of dish soap, just a little bit on the tip would work just fine. Now let's dip it into the milk, or like onto the food coloring. And let's see what happens. Make sure when you do touch it, it doesn't, like you don't touch the bottom, it's just like hovering. Alright, as you can see, there's something happening there. Now you can try putting in other areas of the milk. Alright, would you look at that? It's like dispersing automatically. And like, I'm not even moving my toothpick, it's just in one place. Like if you see, like I just tap it and it disperses. So what kind of magic is this? It's the power of chemistry. Now let's take a look at what exactly is happening. So what exactly is the science behind all this? If we zoom in on the milk, and I mean zoom in on the milk, to the point where we can see all the individual molecules of the milk, we would see 3 different kinds of molecules. Water molecules, fat molecules, and protein molecules. Each of these different molecules are made up of different atoms, and these atoms vary in charge. There's going to be positive charges, there's going to be negative charges, and there's even going to be neutral charges. These different charges interact with the molecules of the dish soap differently, causing the dish soap to pull and push the milk molecules and the food coloring, resulting in what we see in our experiment of the color dispersing and just moving all over and spreading all over. Now, how can we change up this experiment in a different way? In this experiment, we used 2% milk. However, we could have used whole milk or 1% milk or half and half. If we really wanted to, we could have even switched up what kind of soap we used. We used dish soap, but we could have used hand soap or shampoo. It's really up to you. You can change up your experiment and see what happens. If you do happen to do so, feel free to send us a video or a picture of what happens. Now, thank you for participating in today's experiment with us. We'll see you in a different video.